I thought we've been trying to record for 20 minutes now. Did you have it?
I'm going to use that.
All right, that's your opener.
You're listening to Mid-Atlantic Gravel, Travel, and Dirt.
Hi, everybody. I'm Joey.
And I'm Brian.
Folks, this is episode 271 of Mid-Atlantic Gravel, Travel, and Dirt. If you're new here, this is the podcast where we talk about gravel bikes, adventure biking, bikepacking, bike camping, or just playing bikes. I'm excited, Joey, because last week the weather kind of cooperated, and I got to ride outdoors 3 days. I'm excited about that.
I saw that on Sunday. Sunday, I experienced 3 different weather patterns in a half hour, and I didn't know if you were still out. Did you see that up there?
I also experienced like multiple weather things during my ride because I decided I would go a little further, and that was a bad idea.
All the way down Dares Beach?
All the way out Dares Beach Road, and I'm pretty sure it rained somewhere between my house and where I went, and because when I was on my way back, it was actually the roads were all wet. I'm just glad I didn't get rained on, but I did not get rained on.
I had a 20-minute cleaning session with my smoker outside. And when I got out there, it was like sunny, nice, kind of warm. Then I felt the wind pick up, and then like the squall came across the water, across the creek. Then the wind was howling, and then it got dark and it snowed, and then it got cold and then sunny cold again in like 20 minutes.
It was so weird when I left the house. It was like you said, it was sunny, and I was like, I don't even know if I need my jacket. And that would have actually cut me short. I would have actually realized that I needed it had I gotten out there and not had it. So, pretty interesting day. But it was exciting. We got out last week together.
We did. We had a date.
On Wednesday. Then I rode with Jack outside on Friday. And then,
I forgot that was all in the same week.
Yeah, all in the same week. It feels good the first week in January.
Time's a blur in January for me.
Yeah. As promised, Joey, way back, and I know you're not excited about this episode. You're going to have a lot of input. You're going to have a lot
I'm going to have no input.
You are, too. But as we promised way back, we're going to talk about shoes. And I also agree with you. I wish I had never opened this Pandora's box because there's so many things out there in the land of shoes, which I guess is kind of a good thing because you've got a lot of options, but I think it's to the point now where it's a little overwhelming.
It's not overwhelming. What did I tell you yesterday?
I don't remember. I was in the middle of trying to...
second most purchasable item on a bicycle?
Yes, besides a saddle. It's the thing.
Why spend $4,000 to $7,000 or $400
well, I guess,
not be comfortable when you ride it? That and a saddle.
And you know, I think we've
all... tape, too.
Everybody's gone through that thing where you buy saddles, and then it's like you can't send it back, and... You know, so you're stuck with all these saddles. God, if shoes are the same thing, you could end up spending as much money on shoes and saddles as you do for the actual bike until you find the one that works for you. And then they seem to, once you find something that works, it's like, oh, that's not available anymore. What is that all about? I just tell people if you find a saddle that works for you, buy 2 of them.
All right, so question why do you want new gravel shoes?
Because mine are falling apart.
Just buy the same pair.
But the RX-8s. And I don't know that
they still make those.
I know, but it's not. It's as we discussed during.
You need 2 shoes too.
Yes, I do,
and that's my riding shoes, and you need adventure shoes.
Yeah, I needed something during the fuck around that allowed me to do that hike-a-bike, and then I realized pretty quickly that if I had a pair of shoes that allowed me to do a hike-a-bike, that would be a better bikepacking shoe. Than
I got bikepacking, like new bikepacking shoes.
Did they say bikepacking on the side of them?
I'll throw you a hack. You just numb your feet. It doesn't matter. No, I actually got Ross or one of those stores was blowing out 510s.
Yeah,
I bought like 5 pair, but I also got a really nice pair of I would call them adventure shoes. They're more lace up, like definitely have a lot more flex, which is what you want for bikepacking.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about all that. Yeah. Now,
$20, $200 shoes.
So you got the 510s. They were what, the Free Riders? Is that what they were?
That's their flats. I got Free Riders. I got Free Rider Pros. I bought their boots, their neoprene flat riding boots, which were like $40 from $250. I got those mountain bike adventure shoes, and then I got another pair of something else.
You got all this from Ross.
Yeah.
Because they had this massive supply of 510s.
Yeah.
Nice. That's well done.
Adidas hosed them when they bought them, and then they overdid it, and I guess that's why they're blowing them out. Nothing wrong with the shoes.
No. I actually have, think, 2 pair of 510s. Remember back when I would ride a mountain bike? I mean, that was
still don't
shoe.
wear any of them.
Why?
I'll wear the boots this time of year. They're boots. They're like ankle high. They're neoprene. They're super warm, especially when it's wet and muddy now.
Yeah.
Like when I ride the Levo for trail work.
Okay.
Because they're super warm and they have some ankle support.
All right.
But I don't know. I got a pair from Shimano that I love. I forgot what they're called. They're a pair of flats, and then I got my S-Works Recons that
Gotcha.
I don't notice on my feet any of those shoes. And I hated the Specialized flat shoes. They hurt my feet every time I wore them.
Well, what I did is I went through and kind of thought about, like, what are the things that are important with regards to shoes as it relates.
Do they have a good sole? Like
to gravity? Do they have sole?
Sole.
They need to have sole. You need to have sole, brother.
I'm not reading the show notes. I'm winging this because I didn't talk about shoes.
Well, I mean, I do want to actually hit the points that I came up with because I sat all day Sunday doing this. The walkability factor, the hike-a-bike factor.
You could have AI'd that in like a minute.
The field repairability. If you have a shoe that, and all of these have different. You have to break it down. You can't just say gravel. You've got to say racing. You've got to say bikepacking. You've got to say casual and commuter.
Maybe it's a stay strong.
And then even in the world of bikepacking, you got to think about, well, am I going for a sub 24 or a 2-day where I'm sort of like if something goes wrong, okay, versus something like the Divide, whereas if you go out and something goes wrong, you're screwed. So you've got the walkability, the hike-a-bike factor, the backcountry factor, which is can you fix that shoe, or is it a shoe that would need to be quote unquote fixed? The multi-day factor, your foot swells, and then does it get dry? There's all of those things you have to think about. So like if you're that hike-a-bike factor, you've got to think about the places where riding is not something you would do, right? Like that. So and I'll keep going back to fuck around because they got that hike-a-bike section. So you got to think about, where am I going to have to be off the bike? Is this
I don't know. I don't know if that's a good example, and I'm not trying to be rude.
Well,
that's like 2 minutes of walking.
It was 2 minutes of walking.
35 miles of riding.
Yeah, but it's something that made me think. It was that point where it was like I was riding, and I was in my RX-8s, which I've always ridden as my gravel shoe, always ridden as my bikepacking shoe.
You just need the spikes for the toes. Like cross.
Those things that you screw in.
And then you just have the grip.
Yeah.
You were talking about sliding, right?
Yeah, I was sliding, but it was also I couldn't get any grip because, the sole is so stiff and so hard that, help you if you actually hit a rock or a wet kind of thing with the center of your foot. It was like ice. And it was miserable. So that hike-a-bike factor, the walkability. Think about the times when you're going to need to be able to walk a bike. Then this made me think, too, is the repairability. If your shoe is a BOA closure, and I've had this happen to me, the closure breaks. That little wire inside snaps. I was in Florida, and I actually had my very, very old road shoes, and I'm going back like maybe 2 shoe generations on my feet, and one of them broke. And I was in Florida, and it was like I had no recourse. So thank God that shoe had 2 closures on it, and it was the bottom one that broke, not the top one. So I was still able to get the shoe kind of locked down, and it really didn't create a problem. But if you are on the Great Divide and that BOA breaks, what you going to do?
Duct tape.
True. I mean, there's always a fix. And you should always carry the duct tape around your flashlight or something so that you have a little stretch of.
Actually, you know what I do? I got that Gorilla Tape or gaff tape. No, Gorilla Tape. And I just fold it.
Yeah.
So I got it looks like a mini wallet, but it's probably like 8 feet of tape.
Yeah.
And it's so thin it goes behind my multi-tool in my saddlebag.
Yeah, I do the same thing, and also another good thing to carry
8 feet's a little exaggerated.
Well, it might actually be. Zip ties. I carry cable ties. That's another, and a couple of sizes, a big size, a little size. So that would also be something that would help you fix something like that.
I found my shoes.
I do want to talk about what shoes you ride. So think about the fact that if that closure system breaks, what you going to do, and are you in a place where you can take care of it? And then the idea of multi-day trips. If you're out, your foot changes size over the course of 3 days. it's going to swell because of the fact that your foot, even on a short 4-hour ride, your foot's going to swell. And that's why you have to, I always tell people, if you're on a long day, especially if you're not used to it, stop, take your shoes off, let your feet kind of reaccommodate, and then put shoes back on, and you'll adjust them differently. So your foot size is going to change. And then if it gets wet, how fast does it dry? And if it gets wet and there's no ventilation, so you say, okay, well, my shoe is so locked tight that if I get rained on or if I go through a puddle, my foot's not going to get wet. Well, guess what? That's just a giant sweat box. So all of those things you have to think about when you're evaluating shoes. And then it comes down to all of the factors of the shoe itself. How expensive is it? All of the different use cases, the durability of the shoe, how it fits your foot, because wide foot, narrow foot, all those different things. And I guess maybe that's the reason why there are so many different shoes. What shoes do you ride?
My everyday shoe is my S-Works Recons.
Okay.
Because I wear that on my road bike, my gravel bike. Well, that's those two bikes I wear it on, which is what I ride the most. And then let me switch screens.
So S-Works Recons.
S-Works Recons, which are awesome shoes. They're extremely expensive, and I don't recommend you spending $500 on them.
Is that really what they're at now?
Yes.
Holy cow.
But I love them, and I don't notice. And I did Florida with those. Like, I've done a couple bike packing. I've also ridden like 7 miles in Crocs with you guys. Those are great to the point where I have S-Works Torch or the road shoe, and I just don't wear road shoes anymore. But the nice thing about those for uniformity is they're almost identical as far as feel and fit, except for the bottom. So I actually have pretty much a brand new I got a lot of shoes upstairs. Those sit on a shelf, but they're there if I need them. But those Recons are my favorite shoe. And you get the similar fit and feel. You lose stiffness and gain weight when you go down. But the average person only needs a 2 or 3, like 2.0 or 3.
That's I think, I go through a bunch of different shoes. And I actually looked at a bunch of different shoes. And that's kind of one of my takeaways is the Recon 2.
Yeah.
Because it's the right... Although, honestly, the price point's still stupid.
Oh, they're still expensive. And the nicest shoe isn't for everyone. Like, you can have a shoe that's too stiff. Like, you get the carbon soles. Even the harder plastics, there's ratings. But sometimes this really stiff shoe isn't the best for that for some people. But I've come accustomed to it over the last 20 years. Yeah. But then it depends on what I'm doing. That's why I have mountain bike and even sometimes on my gravel. And I think I wore these no, I didn't. Not this year. The Shimano GE700s. I am absolutely in love with that shoe.
Shimano GE700.
So it's a flat clip mountain bike shoe. I'll be honest, I was gifted these and those S-Works Recons. And I was supposed to talk.
You were gifted the S-Works Recons?
Yeah.
Like as in somebody said, "Oh, I don't need these anymore. Here, just have them." Or was it?
I did side work for I built my Specialized reps, multiple bikes. And
Gotcha.
Tossed me something. Because I had the S-Works lace-up Recons, which I did pay for. Mm-hmm. Man, Jess ran with these at 5, and they're still hot. I hated the lace-ups, and I was complaining to him, so they just showed up at the shop.
Okay, so
the S-Works Recon with the boas, and I've loved them for the last couple of years. I've had them, but I don't like mountain biking in those. They're like not a mountain bike shoe for me. I'm not an XC bro.
Okay,
but the GE700s. My Shimano rep asked me to get an early version of those, and I wrote stuff for him, and I told him how I felt. And we ended up selling, at the time at the shop, we were just carrying a lot more Shimano shoes. I love the way they felt because they gave us a nice line of flats and lace-ups for mountain bikes.
What was that you said? GE700.
GE700. And I rode Monster Cross on that, and I've done 40, 50-mile rides on those shoes, and they definitely have more flex, and they'd be a backup option for bike packing for me, but they're more of just a mountain bike trail shoe.
That's one of the things I found, too, is the crossover between a mountain bike shoe and a gravel shoe when you're using it in the realm of bike packing. There's a tremendous volume of crossover, and you almost want to look more for a mountain bike shoe than you do for a true quote-unquote gravel shoe.
Then I have the 510 Adidas clip-in mountain bike shoe, which is one of the ones I got which I started wearing on my trainer thinking I was getting ready for Florida. Mm-hmm. That shoe, which is more of a, not the bigger boxed flat shoe, which is I was going to wear in Florida. And I rode my trainer with them to get accustomed to it. And then I have, this is the boot, the Gore-Tex version I got for this time of year.
Man, you have got a lot of shoes, my friend.
I love this shoe, but it doesn't have clips.
It's like a shoe and tell here. On. It's a shoe and tell. You see what I did there, Joey? You see what I did? And
I got these before I decided to kick road shoes, but I have a pair of Torch 3.0s, which Specialized was blowing those out a few years ago.
That's what I wear for my road bike. Is the
I got like the tie-dye version. They cost like nothing when they're blowing them out. If you're a 45, I'll sell them to you for $1. You got little feet.
I got little feet. I'm like a 44.
You're like a 43.
No, it's like 41. A 44. 44.
No, that's not bad. You just
44, 44 and a half, somewhere in that window. And why do we do that? Why are bike shoes in European sizes?
Oh, I love that.
Why?
Why are we doing it the other way? Because you can fine tune your foot.
So there's more.
I don't understand. I've been in the bike industry for 20 years. When I buy boots, I'm looking at the Euro size because the Euro size to me is more accurate than the American size.
It's also more granular, right?
So Except if you're buying Blundstones. They're a little messed up. I'll tell you that recently.
So the Euro sizing is a little bit more fine-tuned. It's not as large a step. So you go from a 9 to a 10 in U.S. sizes. It's a massive difference between a 9 and a 10. But I guess between a 44, 44 and a half, and a 45, I guess the granularity is better, so you can get something that's got a better fit.
It's probably all the same, but I feel like when I shoe shop outside of cycling, I just go off the Euros, and I'm pretty...
Really?
If I buy a 45 in Danners, they're probably close to a 45 in Red Wing.
Okay.
Which I've done in the last few years. But I've also been, like, have you ever bought, like, nice boots?
Yeah.
I mean, you go in the, like, I went to the Red Wing store, and they did this whole fit thing.
Yeah.
It's been awesome.
Yeah,
And then I got the right inserts for them, and they're just dreams on my feet.
So you need to get a foot fit.
You can do you can
like you get a bike fit. You need to get a foot fit.
Well, back when I was at a fit studio, Retool had a whole, and I don't even know. I don't pay attention anymore. But we were pretty early in that where you could go in for your fit, and then you could get we were huge. Like inserts make a difference in shoes. Specialized does a really good job with the 3 different inserts and the heat mapping.
Yes,
but
Russ did that for me.
Yeah,
I had some shoes. Yeah,
that was not even the same levels we were doing at Parvelli either.
Really,
like the Parvelli. Like no offense to Pack, but there's certain studios that like took it to the next level and really fine tuned it. Then there was a Retool system where it was a better mapping system too, and you can custom insoles, like molded custom insoles, and then you could get the Shimano or Lake shoes that you baked. And Shimano, God, I hate talking about shoes. Shimano had a really good program. Like Bike Doctor did it in the area, and it was only certain stores. And you had the Shimano oven, and you could do your foot fit, and then they would bake your shoe and blah, blah, blah. You needed a special oven. You could hack it and do it at home in your oven, but there's certain level of shoes from Lake that are 100% moldable with your own oven at home.
I know we're not actually going to show notes anymore. One of the things that I talk about with if you need to dial in the fit, that Lake seems to be the one you
Lake's
want to go to.
Lake's a solid shoe. They even have a Franken shoe. If you have bunions and stuff, it's got like multiple boas, and it's like it's really cool looking.
Why do you hate talking about shoes? Because you seem to know a lot about shoes.
Because I don't know. Like people, it's like
you just
retail. I would.
You got a foot thing?
No, God, I don't understand that in general. But I mean, I don't know many retail. I don't envy people that work at running stores. I hated doing shoes.
Yeah.
Like, no offense to if I sold anyone shoes. That's disable.
You never did? You never did sell me shoes.
No, I hate it.
No, but
I'd hate having to stock all the shoes, and then people want to try on 20 different pairs of shoes, and you'd have to, like... shoes were a pain for retail, but they were needed.
That was my ultimate takeaway, is that there's so many options out there that fit so many different needs.
Then there's colors.
You're never going to find a place where you can go in from a bike shoe perspective and say, I want to try this, and I want to try that, and I want to try that. Because like you said, for a small shop, it would be absurd to try to stock all that.
And the nice thing is, Specialized probably makes one of the best shoes for most people.
Okay.
Like 80% of the market, no, it was a few years ago, 70-80% of the market was on Specialized accessories as far as shoes, helmets, saddles.
And we were talking
straight out of the box, they make some of the best.
We were talking about that.
Not biased.
Those are sort of the three things that go along with the bike: the shoes, the bike, the shoes,
touch points,
the saddle.
I wouldn't consider the helmet in that, but
I do because I've tried to use other helmets than the one that I've used now.
But I'm talking about like touch points, like your bar tape.
Yeah, the places where you come in contact with the bike.
But we stocked Shimano the last year I was there because I thought they made a nice shoe that fit differently than the Shimano Specialized shoe. Then we stock Specialized and then occasionally Lake.
Okay.
But the toe box and everything, the fit of the Specialized shoe generally fit American feet better than the CDs and the European brands.
Okay. So that's why you're saying that,
and 510s generally ran small, so we never ended up really stocking those. And then we found they were at Ross, so I could go across the street while I was still or across the bridge. I bought all these when I was at the store.
From the Ross.
Maybe it was the fall, but didn't I? Yeah.
I remember that. I remember when I think it was Andrew that posted on the SMMB group. There's like a picture of.
I ended up buying some people's shoes because I would text them like, "Hey, they got 11 Free Ride Pros and blah blah blah."
Yeah.
Like $30-$40. I don't know. I got a lot of shoes because then I went through a big run of Specialized Tufo shoes, which never fit. That was the one Specialized shoe I was disappointed.
Yeah.
But then I also used to ride in Vans before that.
Okay.
The Vans were nice. The Vans definitely had the grip and everything.
The grippy on the pegs.
But they lacked structure, so your arch would collapse.
That's not good.
On overtime, and some people that's not a problem. For me, it hurt.
Yeah.
And I wasn't getting enough power because it was my foot was collapsing.
Your foot wraps around the pedal,
yeah.
and it collapses. And not only does it hurt your foot, but like you said, you lose that. You got greater contact with the pedal.
It just folds over a little bit.
Yeah, you got greater contact with the pedal, but
there's also like it's next level going from a pair of Vans to an actual specific, especially if you're riding flats.
Mm-hmm.
Something with a tread that was designed for pins on pedals.
So the 510s, when I was doing the mountain bike, the 510s were my choice. I had the Free Riders, and I remember how uncomfortable those shoes were to walk in because the soles were so stiff. They were not shoes you put on to just.
Shimano shoes are stiff while riding and comfortable while walking.
That's
what I like.
The
E700s.
E700s.
Yeah.
Okay. GE7. GE7 or 700?
Well, they're GE7 on the shoe. I think the technical
GE700 is on the
model on itself is GE700
on the actual shoe.
And that's like there's one more above those, and then there's a bunch below that from Shimano.
Well, that GE7 is still a $200 shoe.
Yeah.
I guess one of the things that if you're going to look at it from a perspective of the another takeaway would be if you're in the market for new shoes, give yourself plenty of time to make that purchasing decision.
GE9 is the BOA version.
Do your homework, and then find shoes. And this is actually a thing where I'm going to be honest. You know, we always want to support the local bike shop. But if you expect your local bike shop to have the variety of shoes that you can find on the internet, you are sadly mistaken. And that means you may, because ultimately our goal as what you and I do here is to try to help other people make a good decision.
Hopefully.
And a lot of times that means going to the local bike shop and getting the advice. But shoes seem to be a thing where you might want to give yourself some time, buy some stuff online, and make sure that you can return it if it doesn't fit you right. Am I wrong on that?
No, I was going to say nowadays just go find somewhere you can return. Buy like 5 pairs if you can financially afford it.
Exactly.
Because unfortunately, like if it's a special order at a shop, and I've had people want very specific shoes just to try them on. I'm like, this is a 42.5 in this ugly color, and if they don't fit you,
I'm never going to be able to get rid of them.
Like you're buying them, unfortunately, which sucks. But that's business.
You're almost doing your local bike shop a favor. I mean, it's support the local bike shop when you can support the local bike shop. This sounds like it's an instance where if you want ultimately to get the best shoe for your foot, which is massively important, you need to actually do the homework, take the time, do it right, try some things, maybe talk to people. But you see, it's all going to be different.
Because I would say the average person who just wants a SPD-compatible shoe could go into a Specialized retailer, and they're going to stock Recon 1.0 and 2.0s. And then what you could do is and the fit is similar, and say you wanted the 3.0s and they were out of stock on the 45, but you tried on the 2.0 and they were good, then you could support your shop and they'll grab them.
Yeah.
But generally, they should have in standard sizes the 3.0s too.
Okay.
The S-Works, that's what I'm saying. If you wanted the S-Works shoe and maybe the 3.0 fit in a 45, you're like, okay, that's great.
Okay.
Then you order the S-Works shoe from them. And
Well, let's actually, and I want to.
God, I hate talking about shoes.
You hate talking about shoes. If you had to make a recommendation for sort of an entry-level, budget-friendly shoe, what price point would they be at? And where would you direct them as to the family of shoes to look at? And I know there's one huge differentiator is the boa closures versus the lace-up closures. Lace-ups, you get a much cleaner fit, I think.
No, you don't.
Or snugness, or you don't?
You get too snug.
Okay. But you do have, well, I guess even with boas, I'm a boa guy. I like the boa.
I mean, it's to the point where I don't think most big brands, except for like Pearl Izumi and Shimano, Pearl and Izumi are technically the same, even though they're separate entities now. But like they'll do some lace ups, but your entry level shoes for most big brands are boas now. Like boas come a long way.
Yeah.
And they have lifetime warranties, and
I love.
That takes no time, and maybe you break it in a bad situation, and you probably just didn't maintain it either. Kept your shoes clean, but
well, I maintain all of my shoes, and I keep
your
them
shoes. Like your white shoes are always clean,
spick and span.
Yeah,
I don't ever do anything.
But considering we're a gravel, travel, and dirt podcast,
you got to come accustomed to the fact that at some point your shoes are going to be brown.
Yeah,
they're going to be mud.
Shaving cream does well.
And
I used to play with white golf shoes.
Magic Eraser too.
Yeah. And I kept my shoes so clean for golf.
We need to find some pictures of you back in your golf days when you're wearing like your little preppy suits and your little white pants.
I just wore a polo.
White shoes. You did
white,
too.
White pants.
Did you wear white shorts?
No. I hate white pants and light color khakis. I like dark khakis.
We're going to call this episode Things Joey Hates.
Oh, man, this would be 4 hours.
Talking about shoes and white
back
shorts.
to the original question.
Entry level, budget friendly.
Entry level, go get a Recon 1.0 from Specialized.
Is that a nylon sole? Is that like a,
yeah.
It's not carbon?
Yeah.
So you're going to keep
I don't
the
think you
price
get carbon
down
until the 3.
What?
And you might get a carbon insert on the 2, but.
Well, with the Recons, I'm not sure you want full carbon.
Well, it depends on what you want. But for budget, which used to be a $90, then $100, then $110, now it's a $140 shoe, thanks to inflation.
Holy cow!
But it's just like you're not going to go wrong with this shoe. It's a nice boa, and I'll explain why I like boas here in a minute. It's not too stiff, but it's not too soft.
Okay.
You get a lot of bang for the buck. It's Specialized. If you have an issue with it, they will 100%. They'll replace it within a window unless you trash it.
Okay.
If you have issues, and it's just comfortable. And then I would plan to spend another $40. And if you're going into a Specialized or a bike shop, make sure they can check your insoles, because generally they come with a lower,
like more of a flat foot kind of thing.
Once you get to a certain point, maybe the 3.0s, they actually come with the Specialized insoles in them, the actual colored ones, or at least they might be OEM and they might be black, but there's markings that show
like blue and red.
Well, there's plus, and then plus, I think so it went red, blue, green. You're not going to get a comfortable shoe if you're picky without getting your insoles checked.
Okay.
So even on a $140 shoe, get your insoles checked, and maybe you're set for the stock ones, which is 40% of people.
Feet change over time too.
But what happens, like shoes get weird, and that's why the heat map works. And the heat map's something you do. You're not standing on it. You're sitting down. You're not putting pressure. So I have flat feet but my arches collapse every time I stand. And I was hunting arch issues for a while, not with the Vans, totally separate. But when I don't have pressure on my feet, I have kind of a decent arch. But when I would put an insole for a flat foot, every time I'd pedal, since I didn't have weight on the downstroke, my arch would collapse like this. Okay. So then I was getting arch pain. So I actually needed insole support. And once I switched to the blue insoles from Specialized, I've never had feet pain on a regular shoe. Except for those, I couldn't do those in the mountain bike shoes.
See, this is why it's so good that you and I talk.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing in my show notes about insoles.
Insoles will make or break a nice pair of shoes. Like you get $500 shoes and you have, which it was when I first bought my first pair of S-Works shoes at Parvella. That's when I found out. Luckily, I had a really good fitter that employed me. And then we did the heat mapping system from Specialized, and when I don't have pressure on my feet, I have a decent arch, which I came out to the blue arch. So once I put that insole in, my arch wasn't collapsing. I had support, and I was getting a little bit more power out of my pedal stroke.
Okay.
Or I could have had a $400 shoe, with horrible arches and hated it. And if I was really picky, in which we did a lot, then you could get a custom insole from Retool.
Wow.
Which got molded and everything in front of you.
So many options.
Yeah. But
so many options.
Start with a $140 shoe from Specialized.
So that's where you're at. That's you're in a window of about $140-ish, $150-ish to get a good
because you're gonna shoe. Unless you have pedals, so you're gonna spend another $60 on pedals if this is your first time clipping in. Mm-hmm. $250, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, now let's think about use case. If I'm racing, and that's my concern is I need some tread, I'm sure at some point, but what I'm most concerned with is how much they weigh and that carbon sole for that power transfer. I don't really care so much about walkability because I'm racing. RX-8s?
We're not a racing podcast, Brian.
I know, but I'm just trying to
because
we have people that listen.
Do you know how many people that are on the tip of the spear that raced a Lifetime Grand Prix and all that stuff that wear road shoes?
Ah, yeah.
Like a lot of people wear road.
If walkability is out the window and you're not concerned about that.
And the benefit of that is a lot of them are more comfortable in them. And some folks, and I think this is true at points, is if you look at an SPD cleat, do you know how small that cleat is? Mm-hmm. Now look at your SPD SL cleat.
They're massive. They're
your surface area for that, and you don't get as much of a hot spot. Mm-hmm. So that's why a lot of them wear the road. Mm-hmm. And I wear, if I do, and I might go back this year on my Ritchie Speed Play / the Wahoo pedals. I love those. And they have a huge cleat.
And that's
man, you don't want to walk in those.
Yeah, one thing I could never understand. I've always been in the pedal shoe family of Shimano. I've never really stepped outside of that.
You got Specialized.
That's what I mean from the cleat perspective.
Oh yeah,
the cleat and the pedal perspective.
I switched to Speed Play at the time because they were much more fine tunable for fittings, which I think's been debunked now.
Okay.
But I like it.
Well, one thing I could never understand, and help me understand this, in the world of mountain bike, the Crank Brothers, it just looked like it was a little pedestal that just.
Oh, that's a controversial episode.
Well, give me the 50,000-foot view. I mean, it always felt like when I would look at that, I was like, I get it that you could probably.
It's just another mountain system.
You could get in it from 4 different angles, right? I mean,
you could fine tune it. They were light. They were different. There's a whole thing I could go in about Crank Brothers, and they're great. Some people race them, but I've been a victim of the Crank Brother failure in the middle of the trail. The whole pedal shoots off the spindle, and they just have a big failure rate.
Ooh.
So I've used to be able to fix those by throwing them out and putting Shimano's on.
I've always had to be cognizant of the fact that during tours, inevitably somebody along the way their cleat will come off of their shoe and be stuck in their pedal, and it's just total madness and mayhem for about 15 minutes while everybody's trying to figure out a way to get the cleat out of the pedal so they can get it back on, and then they also don't have any. That's why I always carry I carry replacement cleat bolts.
I'll say those are wrapped up in another thing of that Gorilla Tape.
Yeah.
The whole cleat system.
Yeah.
Extra bolts, the plates, and then the cleat itself.
Yeah.
I don't know.
For serious racers, you're looking at a road system.
But no. I think originally, I know you just said all that, but I also think in the last year or two, a lot of really nice gravel racing shoes will come out.
Okay.
So you'll see, Shimano has some nice ones. Everyone has nice ones. The S-Works Recons. You can, but they're also a little bit heavier because of lugs. So some of it's weight.
Okay, so that's
S-Works Recon.
Let's throw racing out the window. Let's not talk about racing anymore. If you're out for adventure or bike packing or walkability.
Have you seen the Sphere, the XC903s?
The who say what now?
That would be a racing shoe I would love.
Say that again.
Shimano, if you want the $500 to seem cheap, these are $525.
Give me something I can look up. I don't know.
XC903 special.
XC903.
They're special editions.
S-Sphere. There we go.
The Sphere.
S-Sphere. It's spelled S-PH. It actually should be S-Fire, right?
Sphere.
Sphere. $525. Holy smokes.
I think they're Fire, but I always say Sphere. That's like saying S-Ram.
I would say S-Fire. Fire. Fire guy.
That's a contender, but
holy cow, is that? They're sexy though.
Yeah,
those are some sexy shoes. Holy cow!
But and they make them in white. They make them in white
That
then the
camo green.
Because
Ooh.
your tip of the sphere pros are going to race white shoes.
Are they really? Why?
I've never got with the...
Why is that?
And that level shoe is known to have that really nice blue.
Oh, that blue is gorgeous. I'm looking at it now.
They do that on all their top-end shoes.
That blue is gorgeous. But my favorite, they have a blue, a black, and then that camo is hot.
Well, you have silver camo.
Yeah, I see the silver camo. Yeah,
No, you have silver
I have
camo.
silver camo in my RX-8s, yeah.
The other... because I'm on Shimano,
wow.
What level is this? You can still get a Velcro. There's still some curmudgeons. That XC102, which we sold as like a spin shoe.
Man.
And my last bit of shoes, since I hate talking about shoes, is going to be about the closures really quick, unless you got some more.
No. Well, I did want to talk about. I want to make sure we hit what's a good shoe for bike packing, for the walkability factor.
Bike packing.
That's the next thing I wanted to really kind of.
I think Jack has a shoe from Pearl. I forgot who makes it. That's a good bike packing and all around riding shoe. That Adidas 510 is just like their trail shoe. Mm-hmm. Is a good all-arounder. But even that Recon 1.0 is soft enough.
What's a price point for a 1.0?
$139.99.
And then the Recon 2, you step up to $200. And I don't know what you additionally get over the Recon 2 over the Recon 1.
So let me see what 2026
So one of the things
shows.
these Recons do is it's got a lot of flex in the toe, right?
Just in general. But the 2.0, I bet, has a stiffer sole, which might have a carbon insert. Oh, look, when you scroll down on their site, it says complete your ride, and you can pick your soles for that one.
Oh, on the Recon?
Yeah.
On the 2.0?
Well, just I'm on the 2.0 page. But generally, as you go up, you're probably getting a carbon insert, and it's just an insert. It might be like a little piece like this that's in the sole to stiffen it up.
Okay.
When you go to the 3, that's when you get probably a carbon sole and a double BOA.
So I'm hoping that our listeners are actually figuring out what's going on here. This is exactly what I discovered, is that there's so many options out there and so many different things that it's wild. It is absolutely, it's like Wild Wild West.
Let me go over the 3 closures really quick.
Yes, please.
So you have Velcro, lace, and BOA. Early days it was, and then there's the really old ratchets. Velcro shoes are budget friendly and they generally don't break, but when they fail, you're kind of hosed.
Okay.
Because you can't really sew the whole system on unless you go to a cobbler. And you couldn't, you would just, generally people just yank them down and close them. And you could kind of fine tune them.
This is the Velcro.
This is Velcro.
Yeah.
And they just got the job done. They were inexpensive, which were great. But generally, they weren't your comfortable shoe. Then you had Velcro, like maybe a Velcro strap or two, and then the ratchet with the release, like CD and Specialized use. A lot of people use those.
I still have those that I use on my trainer.
Yeah, you probably should look up some eBay parts because eventually those ratchets will be gone.
They only get used on the trainer, and they'll just get thrown away.
And then
when they fail.
And I'll talk about a hybrid here in a second. And then you'd have lace-ups, which you generally find in adventure, mountain bike shoes. The lace-ups are great. I never could get them to feel as comfortable except for those one pair of Shimanos because you can never tie them exactly how you wanted them. Mm-hmm. Like once you learned what boas were, laces sucked.
Yeah.
But those Shimano shoes and those Adidas or the 510s, I haven't had lacing problems. And both of those have a Velcro closure at the top as like a fail-safe and got you that extra little bit of comfort, and they felt better with that Velcro going right across the top.
Right.
And then you'd have the other hybrids where there would be, I'll get to that one in a second. But the lace-ups are nice because you can replace the laces. They generally don't fail unless you just never pay attention to your shoes and you start fraying them. And they were comfortable. Mm-hmm. But generally that's a mountain bike and adventure shoe. And then you got the BOAs. And then you got multiple different types of BOAs.
So yeah, that was what I wanted to ask you about.
You'd have a BOA Velcro, then you'd have a BOA, and then you'd have a double BOA. So BOA Velcro would probably be like the Recon 1.0s, which would have, let's see if they do. No, they got rid of it.
No more Velcro?
It's funny because the 2.0s have it. So your BOA is basically this rotating ratchet system with a coated cable. There's different materials now that ran through the shoe, and when you tightened it, if you tightened it correctly, it would evenly distribute how snug the shoe was from the top all the way down, which I love. And that's where you can never replicate that with laces for most people. I think for the average consumer, everyone might be personal, but from the thousands of people I saw in retail, that was my thing. Then you would have, and the 2.0s do it. I never knew why they did this. Maybe some people needed it, but you'd have a piece of Velcro at the bottom.
Yeah,
it was usually useless.
Yeah, I don't know.
It didn't change much. Maybe someone could get another millimeter or two tighter closure, but then you're still running the boa down. And then you'd have the double boas when you get to the nicer shoes, where you have, and they don't run all the way down, but you'd have them strap across the 2 points you needed on the shoe, and you could fine tune them really nice. Because there's sometimes I would need the lower one to be a little bit more snug than the upper one, or vice versa.
So this has the Specialized website has the Recon 3 at $279.
Yeah.
So it's just under $300 versus really if you look at the Recon 2 versus the Recon 3, that's not that big of a price difference.
Yeah, but then everything
bucks.
starts going up. Yeah.
$80. So $80 on the Recon 2 gets you from the oddball little Velcro closure at the bottom, the single boa with a bunch of straps, to the double boa. Now, one of the things that on my Torch 3.0s, the boas don't snap out. I have to wind them backwards and wind them forwards.
There's so many different boa variations.
Oh my God, they're such a pain.
But the nice thing about the different variations, especially when you come back to the double boas, is you can fine tune them. And I know the Shimano's do it the same way. Like you can just rotate it back a click or two if you need a little bit extra. Like your feet swell when you ride.
Yeah.
So back in the day where you'd have to get off, maybe take your Velcro, redo it, or do your laces, blah blah blah. Because I would say 80% of people tighten their shoes way too tight to start. Mm-hmm. And I'll go over my foot process here in a second. But
you got a lot of thoughts on somebody who hates to talk about feet and shoes.
That's the problem. And then you get to the S-Works boas, which is the same thing as the 3.0 Recons. But they're like this metal. They feel like, and they look like a nice watch. They have the like tactile feel. They're metal. They're just nice.
Which one is this we're talking about?
The S-Works Recons.
The S-Works Recons
have this really nice, like Swiss watch style boas. But what's nice, especially like I do it on the trainer all the time, is I'll tweak my boa as I'm riding, and I just go forward and backwards.
Okay.
Less moving parts because you're not doing the pop-out system. The early days of replacing boas sucked. It was hard.
Yeah, I had to do it a couple times.
Now they're easier, but
so that boa on the S-Works Recon is the only way to loosen that by dialing it backwards.
You just twist it each way, yeah. But it's so easy.
So, no, my Torches are not because as my hands are all gimpy. I've got gimpiest hands of anybody, I think, in the history of the world. I've busted them up so many times that I can't reach down with my left hand. And this is I'm sitting in a chair. I can't reach with my left hand and get my Torch 3.0 boa to roll backwards. I have to take my glove off, use it as like a bottle opener to kind of like try to.
So they just gummed up?
I don't know what it is, but
you can just get new boas. Like you go on their website.
Yeah. You
plug in a few things, and then they mail them out to you in like 2 days.
Oh, I would
just refresh your boas.
So that's the other thing with my RX-8s. The boa system has that it has like a rubber ring around it.
Yeah.
Well, that's disintegrated, and they're all gone now. And they're just bye-bye. And so it's like I'm just grabbing the plastic on the RX-8s, which I think there's only one. I think there's only one boa. There's only one boa on my RX-8s.
Yeah. The boas on the 3.0s look nice
But
now.
those, I grab a hold of those and just pop them out. And they loosen up versus having to roll it backwards and roll it forwards. I don't have the option on those Torches to pop it out. It's just forward and just backward, and they've always been that way.
So my only gripe now that I think I've been wearing the Recon, the S-Works, is when you pop it out, you lose your starting, and you could just snug it back up. But
you lose your starting position.
Like, I only need to go a few clicks.
Yeah.
That's it, because generally and I saw everyone that would try a shoe on, they would lace them up so tight, or they would take the Velcro and they would same with the boa. And the problem with the boas, right off the bat when they first started coming out, everyone was cranking the boas so tight, and they'd be like, "Oh, the shoe's so snug," or they go out and ride, and like 2 miles in, their feet were swelling so much. The thing I like, and I always told everyone to do when they tried on shoes, is put your foot in the shoe, loosen it all the way, especially with boas, and then curl your toes up like you're making a fist with your foot.
Oh, this is your process?
This is my process. And it seemed to work, and it was super comfortable for most people. And then you would just snug up the shoe. You wouldn't crank it down, and then you would let go of your toes.
Okay.
That's generally the right amount of fluff you need in the shoe. They weren't loose.
Pro tip.
But they weren't extra tight, and you weren't cutting off your blood flow.
Well, I would always tell people, I especially did this on tours. They'd come into a rest stop, and I'd say, hey, take your shoes off, take your shoes off.
Because they would tighten them up.
And then I'd tell them to go over and stick their feet in the cooler, the soda cooler.
That's disgusting.
I wouldn't do that. Some of them would have done it, though.
People got to take their shoes off. And I used to be notorious on, like, John Sisson's got photos on our Average Joe's, because we used to do a lot longer than the 20-mile ride, but we get to St. George or Colton's Point or something, and I would get to like a halfway point and we would eat and stuff. I would take my shoes off.
I do it all the time.
Yeah.
I don't do it on
But now that I know how to wear a shoe and got good shoes.
Now that you know how to wear shoes.
Like, I don't need to take them off. I don't notice them on my feet. And every so often, I crank them down too hard, but then I just reach down at the 3 o'clock or the 12 o'clock position, just click, click.
Okay, so last question, and then we're going to move over to this or that. Last question for you. Like, if you had, and let's talk about from the perspective of somebody who's not racing but going out and doing, like, let's use unpaved as our example, and then somebody who's going out for a bike packing trip. Where would you tell somebody whose main goal is unpaved to ride it well, ride it fast, but I'm not racing? Where would you tell them to start from a shoe perspective?
Oh, isn't that what we just did?
Kind of.
I would say Recon 1.0 for
recap it. Recap it is what I'm doing.
The Recon 1.0s.
The Recon 1.0
or
across
those
the board?
Shimano, where were they?
The GE, the G.
The XC300s were a good shoe. I think they're the 302s now.
Okay.
The XC302, same price point. They just have a little different feel. So that'd be the two shoes if I could compare them for the average person.
Give me that one more time. The
XC302.
XC302. I actually want to put some show notes together.
And then the Recon 1.0. Those would be the two, since I don't want, everyone probably thinks I'm biased because I'm Specialized, but it's just it's facts on the internet.
That's a nice looking shoe for $140.
Both of them, yeah.
That XC302.
And the reason there's options is because everyone's foot's different.
Yeah.
It's generally, and Shimano's gotten better, but the average American's toe box, the Specialized shoe, fits well.
Okay.
And if not, then there's the 3 series.
Okay.
But I would also say the same if they're bike packing.
Same thing.
Because you buy the one shoe because you're not bike packing every day, but maybe you go out and ride 2 or 3 times a week. Mm-hmm. Just get that shoe that's good for regular riding too.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
well, there you have it, folks.
And if not, you can get those. What are those clogs I have? What are those sandals that everyone?
God, no.
Like the Ultra Romance sandals.
I had some folks on the tour one time, and this was in Louisiana. I think it was the same tour that I jacked my finger up. The whole thing they rode in sandals. Yeah. The whole tour in sandals.
Oh, and I've said on this podcast, I have those SPD sandals too from Shimano. I forgot what they're called.
Yeah. So
I've seen someone ride in Blundstones. I've seen someone ride in like just sneakers.
Yeah,
ride was comfortable, but
at the end of the day, I've ridden in. I had some Crocs that I used for a bike packing trip one time. They were just straight up Crocs with lace closures, with like Velcro closures. And I used them for a trip, and they were fine.
Now we do the whole part where we're riding on flats.
Yeah.
We got to do another hour on flats.
No, we are not going to do any hour on flats. We're going to go straight to this.
I will say a lot of people bike pack on flats. And the pedal makes a difference too.
Yeah.
You need to spend a little bit of money versus a nylon pedal and get something with a big surface area and some pins.
Well, so sorry everybody I'm glad everybody stuck around.
I'm glad we talked about it. This was horrible.
I hate
shoes.
If you have any thoughts on shoes,
I hate that
questions
I know that much.
on feeder shoes, or if you just want to send feet pics, Joey at graveltraveldirt.com is where you want to send them.
Send everything.
Send all your questions. If you've got a bloody toenail that's separated because of whatever. At least we're not runners. Their feet issues are crazy. Okay, straight to this or that. No more. A 3-day bike packing trip, Joey. Would you rather use brand new shoes or shoes that are just about clapped out and about to fall apart?
I'm going to go with new shoes because I'm going to pick out the pair that I know is not going to give me feet pain.
Bang. That's my answer, too. Is if you do your homework right and you've listened to episode 271.
So I'm going to buy another pair of the shoes I just lost.
Well, you've literally got so many shoes.
I'm not going to let them get clapped out.
Would you ever have to buy another pair of shoes? When would be the next time that you would absolutely necessarily have to buy another pair of shoes based on your current stock and assessment? We're going to get a picture.
Couple years.
Okay.
Because I have shoes in boxes upstairs. I have duplicates. I take very well care of my shoes. And I have multiple pairs.
Would you rather Try to keep those shoes super clean, or just accept the fact that the colorway is now brown mud.
It's not hard to keep them clean.
So keep them clean. I try.
You're not going to kill it by hosing off a shoe.
Yeah, I do that all the
They're meant to be in
time.
the elements.
Every time. I
also like black shoes.
See, I love the gray. I love that silver RX-8.
Black
I love
shoes,
that.
black socks.
Not black, not
Except for
white.
Rich supplies. Matt did do 2 pair of black socks in his history. One of them, which I still like, these are 10, 11 years old. They're black and they have faint lines of the color. And he did like 200 pairs of those.
I have some of those.
Yeah,
they're real thick. And I have
these
some
are the regular Aerate or whatever they're called.
I have some that are slightly thicker, and they have that same skyline, kind of like very subtle gradient. But you can unless you're looking for it, you wouldn't see it. Those are my dress socks.
I got those. Those are the double soles.
Yes, that's what I have.
Pair, yeah,
that's what I have.
The top has it. No, I wear colorful socks too for dress socks.
I wear them all the time. Yeah. That's all I wear anymore. Would you rather ride with squishy wet socks or a pebble in the toe box that you just can't seem to get rid of?
I seem like I'm always riding with that pebble. So I'm going to go with the pebble. I don't like that squishiness.
I don't like squishy, especially if it's like the wool. I know the wool keeps, like the thick Ridge Supply ones, the real thick socks. I love those. I wear them all the time. I have like 5 pairs of them. And even when they get wet, they keep your foot warm, but there's that feeling of the squish. I just, ugh. But a pebble in the toe box, that would make me nuts. I think I'd rather go with the wet socks, to be honest, than having something like pushing on your toe. But would you rather go with SoPro sexy $400 shoes that hurt like hell, or a $50 bowling shoe style shoe that's comfy?
It's not even this or that. I would say if you just go with comfy.
Comfy, always comfort, always comfort. Even if, actually, I think bowling shoes would be a slick, very cool colorway for somebody to actually build a shoe in.
Oh, so color. There used to be, and I see them on group rides occasionally. Like someone will have like 30-year-old lace up, like really falling apart fabric shoe that looks like a bowling shoe.
Yeah,
and they ride with it.
Yeah,
and that's almost worse. That'd be a good to that clapped out bibs with holes in them like you have, or clapped out shoes. Like you'll.
I don't wear them in public. I keep
you have new bibs. New is in a couple years because you ride a lot, and they form the fabric is see through. But then there's the people with, and there's been a few people in the club where I just want to like, when I was at the shop, I just wanted to like put a new pair of shorts and or bibs in their car without telling them because the elastic would be so worn out. They're riding up their crotch like. They look like booty shorts. They were see-through.
Or they get so big.
And the chamois didn't exist.
They're almost baggy.
Well, yeah, I say that, or they'd be baggy around the thighs, and the chamois disintegrated. You know that.
Would you rather? Here's a bonus, this or that. The awkward conversation with somebody who's like, hey, your shorts are kind of see-through and clapped out, or do you just let it go?
From experience, and you've heard this story, I think. I was going through photos last night. I think I have 80,000 photos on my phone.
Holy crap!
But I've had photos since 2016 when I switched back to an iPhone, or 15. I didn't tell Jess, maybe till after we were married, that when we were riding together, I think she had 2 pairs of shorts, and she rode a lot. She was doing a lot of Ironman stuff. But our first date, her tri-shorts, which also don't have the big chamois either, were totally see-through.
Yeah.
Like I saw her butt the whole ride.
Maybe.
And I was being a gentleman about it, and I joked with her maybe in 2020. And I showed her I didn't show her the photo because you couldn't. I showed her a photo of the shorts because she couldn't remember what they were. You couldn't see through them in the photo. I'm like, Jess, for like months until we started getting serious, because then I bought her new bibs from the shop, like 4 or 5 pair. She had see-through shorts.
Yeah. Maybe she knew that and she was like, I'm gonna get this
Not
guy.
Jess, no.
I'm gonna get this guy.
But no, I'm a real life example of that. I didn't say anything for a while.
No, I'll keep mine.
And I definitely wouldn't have said that to. Now we're dipping into some weird waters. I said it to her because she was my spouse. I would never tell someone, even dudes really, that they're maybe a guy.
Mm-hmm.
But to be a gentleman, I'm definitely going to say it to a female. And if I am, I'm going to tell Jess, and then I'm going to have Jess politely tell the other female.
Yeah,
that's
the way
you got to
do
be careful with that one.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was afraid to tell her, until we got married. And I got her new bibs, and I just got them for her. And she also never wore bibs until we started dating.
Yeah.
Most people, once you switch to bibs, and she always only wore tri-shorts. I don't know if you know what tri-shorts are.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
they have a smaller chamois, so it's not a diaper. But it was like a game changer for her to just get actual bibs with a good chamois.
Bibs are the way
and
to
that's
go.
how I got around it.
Yeah.
Man, it sounds horrible now. But that picture came across last night when I was going through photos. I was like, oh, our first date together.
I would never say anything to anybody. I wouldn't. That's your own business.
I'll tell you.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's certain people you'd be like, hey, and I know that I've done this where I've pulled the wrong pair, but because I keep mine.
If you're by yourself or if you're with me, I don't care.
But no,
if the chamois and everything's good, usually your hole forms around the butt crack.
Yeah, it's right on the butt crack. It's right above the chamois. It's right on the butt crack.
And luckily, you're pretty hairy, and it just looks normal. So it's just like, oh, it's furry.
Just a little different color. Yeah. Now, I'll keep those, and I'll ride them on the trainer.
Yeah.
Those are my trainer bibs, because I'm very, very hard. Very, very hard.
You should do a bib episode. No, I'm just kidding.
You would love to talk about bibs?
No.
Next week.
It's worse than shoes.
Bibs
do wear out, everyone. Replace them every couple of years.
Oh God, yes, please do. I can't tell you the number of bibs. I go through like 2-3 pair a year. But if you want to get some good, affordable bibs, the black bibs down in Roanoke, that's the place to go. They are doing some really bang up stuff, and I've been wearing.
Still never worn a pair of their bibs. I love that top.
You've not worn their bibs?
No, I don't have a pair.
Oh, we got.
We're talking to Black Bibs about some stuff, maybe.
Yeah, I email them all the time.
But I still love all my cutaways.
Yeah.
But the most affordable bib, since we're talking about it for the next minute, is still going to be Specialized.
I don't know.
Well, actually, Black Bibs is rivaling them right now. With
that Black Bibs is
but as far as you could go into I don't think Bontrager and Trek even compares in some of these other brands, but like you could go into a Specialized retailer, and if they're a good bike shop, they're going to have
a lot.
Basic. I think they switched the name this year. That RBX line for like $90, maybe it was $120.
Oh, they're more than that now. More than that.
Well, we also never stocked the Bear. You could go in and get something to try on and walk out for a decent price point.
Yeah, I agree.
Like Black Bibs right now isn't in every bike shop. I don't even know if they go to retail.
I don't think they're in retail. I think you got to get that online.
But I'm still old school, and I will drive an hour if I wanted to try on something and buy it in person because I hate waiting. But
well, the results from last week's This or That poll was, remember I put up mid-ride fancy coffee or mid-ride gas station hot dog. Everybody seemed to prefer the coffee. 62% to 38% people would rather have a fancy coffee over a gas station hot dog.
See, mid-ride, I want that hot dog.
I want that hot dog. I want the hot dog after the ride.
I want a hot dog and a coffee.
Yeah.
I want a hot dog latte. The espresso is hot dog water when it's put through the machine. Oh, God, that's disgusting.
That's
we should do that.
Gross.
I could boil a bunch of hot dogs, fill up my water tank in my espresso maker, and have a hot dog flavored espresso.
Hot dog water in your hot dog water in your water bottle.
All right, that's next
week. Which This or That from this week? Do you think we should?
They were good. They weren't juicy.
No, they weren't. They weren't. I was trying to find stuff that was kind of like had the shoe related.
Honestly, I forgot what you asked me.
I think maybe the 3-day bike trip with new shoes or clapped out shoes.
Do that one.
Yeah, I'll do that one. All right, it's time to shut it down. Thanks,
horribly smelling shoes.
Thanks, everybody, for listening to this episode of Mid-Atlantic Gravel, Travel, and Dirt. Remember, if you want to send feet pics, send them to Joey at graveltraveldirt.com because he's waiting. He's actually already probably gotten a couple because I think that's his normal process. Otherwise, Joey, how can folks get in touch with us?
Graveltraveldirt.com or our Instagram is at MidAtlanticGTD.
I didn't even talk about my drone. I put like a couple of
drone.
I've put a couple of drone videos that I created. And it's just for fun. It's just for fun, having a good time.
Yeah.
Those maybe we'll talk about drones for bikes because that's a very interesting topic at this point in time. Mid-Atlantic Gravel, Travel, and Dirt is recorded this week from right here in Joey's kitchen. Thanks for riding along. Until next time, do good, be nice, go slow, respect others, please.
Bye.
Love you, bye.
Well, look at all these show notes you have.